Good morning, fellow Toastmaster and guests. My name is Bernardo, and today I have the honor to serving as your sergeant of arms. Muy buenos días, mis queridos compañeros e invitados. El día de hoy es un día especial. Vamos a tener esta sesión bilingüe. Una de las principales cuestiones que debemos conocer es que estamos en una nueva plataforma, es Google Meets. No podemos cambiar nuestros nombres. We can't change our names in this platform. Please shut off your microphones. Apaguen sus micrófonos. Manténganlos en silencio solamente cuando necesiten hablar. Por favor, ábranlos. The cameras are, please on your cameras. Nosotros necesitamos vernos de la mejor manera. And the interaction. Usen las reacciones de la plataforma o agiten sus manos de esta forma para aplaudir. Hoy es una sesión especial. Nuestra Toastmaster Bianchi Endara ha luchado por 2 ocasiones para poder realizarla y queremos felicitarle. This is a special session. Our Toastmaster Bianchi Endara really fight to put this session on the start today. We are to learn, to experiment, and above all, to enjoy. If you make a mistake in English or in Spanish, celebrate, because it means you are growing. To formally begin this celebration of one of our first session in English, I want to introduce a woman whose vision and leadership has a fundamental for us. I introduce our Vice President of Education, Verónica Salgado, para que nos dé su bienvenida. Verónica, please.
Good morning, Toastmasters and guests. I am Veronica, and I am very frightened because this is a session. My speaking English is not good, really, but I work in speaking English and my writing English. But I am very happy because the session and our Toastmaster Bianchi is a good person and valiant. Okay. Trabajo con otros países, pero mi inglés hablado necesita trabajar, por eso estoy aquí. Yo trabajo más en el inglés escrito. Quiero darles la más cordial bienvenida a todos los invitados y mis felicitaciones a Bianchi por su valentía y entereza. Y ha logrado hacer de esta primera sesión en inglés una realidad. Adelante, Atahualpa. I
must introduce you a Bianchi Endara, a very young woman and but a very brave woman. She is our Toastmaster of the day. Bianchi, please.
Pleased to see all these amazing faces gathered together to celebrate our first Toastmaster Ecuador meeting in English. Today's theme is breaking the language barriers from fear to confidence. This meeting is not about perfection. It's about courage, growth, willingness to speak, and do all things despite fear. Our word of the day is to ascend. which means to rise above limits and go beyond ordinary boundaries. I encourage all of you to use this word during the meeting. As your Toastmaster, my role is to guide you through the meeting, maintain a smooth flow, and create supportive and energetic environment for all speakers. Let me briefly walk you through today's meeting. We will have two main sections. The first part focuses on communication and practice, in which we will have prepared speeches and table topics. And as for the second part of the meeting, we're going to have a special guest right here that we are going to introduce briefly. And without further ado, I may introduce one of the greatest women who has been supporting us and is here to serve us as general evaluator, Elida Honingard. She will be explaining the evaluation process and introduce our team. I yield the floor to you, Elida. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. I really appreciate the opportunity of participating in this first session. We have had the experience in Argentina of creating a club in Spanish instead of in English. So it's very important that we use that experience to try to help you create the same opportunity for your members, that they have both languages in one club. In relation with my role, I am going to be the general evaluator. So what we consider in Toastmasters is that evaluation is a gift. So we give all the time evaluations in everything that happens during the meeting, and also particularly in the speeches part. But all these evaluations are done in order to help the person improve, not to discourage them. They have to be done in a sensible way. So in that regard, you have all the training of Toastmasters in Spanish. You can use it the same in English. I would like now to explain the roles of the people that is going to help me in this evaluation. Different parts of the meeting are going to be analyzed by different persons, and they are going to produce a report at the end. So in order to explain the grammarian role, we have Maria Teresa Vago. Pato Vago is her nickname. And she is also from Toastmasters Argentina. She's going to introduce us to the role.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you for giving me the role. I'm going to write down all the mistakes, the English mistakes. I'm going first to say the mistake as it should have been said. That's the first step, correction, and then the mistake. Why is this? Because you usually remember the first thing that you listen. And I'm going to write down constructions that I really like, that are very well done. That's going to be my role.
Thank you very much, Maria Teresa. I would like now to introduce the role of a counter. And I think that what happened? Yes.
Excuse me, that I'm not going to say who's made the mistake, because I'm just going to say the mistake so that people don't feel uncomfortable. So I'm going to say the sin, but not the sinner. Okay? Sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. That's a good proposition. Now I would like Bianca and Dara to introduce the role of the accounter.
Please to be here I will be counting in this case in the number of filling words and gaps that we tend to use in order to make words longer, either or using words such as or even the misusage of certain hand movements that may not come along with with the with the overall message.
Are you normally referring them to a certain person when you count them?
No, indeed, I will be just listing it just for myself, and then in the end, we are going to share it up.
Okay, thank you. No, what I'm saying is you're going to say the person that did the mistake or not. That's what I'm talking about.
In the end, yes, but it's
Okay.
going to be just a feedback, as a feedback.
No, I agree. That's the way we do it too. But I just wanted to hear you saying it. Okay. Now we have in Toastmasters, timing is very important. Explanations, not to waste anybody's time too. I would like Veronica Salgado to describe the role of the timer.
Good morning again. I am Veronica and I am the timer. And I will serve as your timer role in this meeting. Each speech has a specific time limit. I will use the green signal to show the minimum time, yellow for the main time, and red for the maximum time. Please be sure to acknowledge the signal and try to finish within a few minutes after the red light. I will report the time after each section, and thank you.
Thank you. To be a little bit more precise, Veronica, I would suggest after the red, we should allow only 30 seconds, not minutes. So they have to finish within 30 seconds in order to qualify.
Okay, I understand. Okay.
Okay. I would like, now we are going to do something new in this meeting, probably to most of you. There is no quiz master to the person to do the role. The role of the quiz master is listen during the whole meeting and write up possible questions in relation with the meeting. And then one can answer and contribute to show their understanding of the meeting and that they were paying attention, because listening is a very important skill in Toastmasters, the same as speaking. So we, instead of doing that, each of us during the meeting, listen and write a question. And then at the end of the meeting, we are going to ask the question to the group. And then everybody can answer. There is no winners or losers. It's just to check our attention to the meeting, that's all. So everybody can participate in both ways. Now I would like to return the control of the meeting to the Toastmaster, Bianca.
Thank you so much. Now we move on to one of the most important parts of a meeting, prepared speeches. Our next speaker is a man who owns many titles: chemical engineer, project director, scrum master. But beyond his professional achievements, he is someone who deeply values foundations of family and personal growth. Having celebrated 20 years of marriage with his wife, Annabella, he is the proud father of two athletic sons, aged 20 and 16, whether he is navigating complex industry projects or supporting his son's sporting journeys. He approaches life with the mindset of a lifelong learner. Recently, that journey has led him to embrace a new challenge, mastering new languages. And today marks a very special milestone in his Toastmaster journey. His first formal speech entirely in English, here to share his experience on overcoming obstacles and finding his voice in a new language. Please join me in warmly welcoming Bernardo Atahualpa Cordero with his speech titled The English Barrier Broken in Toastmasters. Please, let's give him a huge clap and welcome him.
Un gran equipo no es aquel que no tiene problemas, sino aquel que se mantiene unido con una misma visión. A great team is not one without problems, but one that stays united by the single vision. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, 2 months ago, I stood here with a dream to turn Toastmasters Ecuador into a bilingual bridge. Mi proyecto, Building a Bilingual Legacy, no era sino solo cambiar un idioma, era transformar la cultura de nuestro club hacia un espacio sin fronteras. As a chemical engineer and a Scrum Master, I am used to technical formulas, mathematics, and precise process. However, I quickly learned in this project that managing a project in a volunteer organizations is not about chemistry, it's not about mathematics or precise projects. It's about empathy, resilience, and trust. Our journey was a true test of leadership. In fact, we faced a significant hurdle that almost stopped the project entirely. Queríamos lanzar nuestra sesión piloto con bombos y platillos hace 2 semanas, pero en realidad nos golpeó y nuestra sesión especial tuvo que posponerse por 2 ocasiones, debido a desafíos logísticos y de agenda. Many would have given up after the second gift, but Bianca Ndara remained deeply motivated. Her unwavering commitment was the engine that kept the team moving when the initial excitement started to fade. Como gerente de proyectos, ver su enfoque, el enfoque de Bianca, me enseñó que el trabajo de un líder no es dar órdenes, sino sostener la pasión de quienes creen en su visión cuando las cosas se ponen difíciles. I learned that a leader's job is to support the passion of others when things was out. The biggest challenge or greatest escollo was finding the right experience. We didn't just need someone who spoke English. We needed a grammarian and evaluators who was an expert Toastmasters capable of navigating this complexity of a bilingual meeting without loss of educational value. Queríamos excelencia, no solo una traducción. This is where managing our stakeholders became vital. Our expert from the Argentina club, Elida, was crucial. She didn't just provide advice, she became a strategic bridge that connected us with the right resources in the region. Thanks, Elida. Su intervención demostró que un gestor de proyectos exitosos sabe que la colaboración global es la clave para resolver nuestros problemas locales. International collaboration is the key to solving the local problems. During this process, I had to balance the needs to different stakeholders. Tuve que asegurarme que nuestra presidenta y nuestro vicepresidente educativo sintieran que este proyecto era un paso hacia adelante y no una distracción. I learned that transparency is the best tool to manage expectations. Al comunicar nuestros desafíos de forma abierta, transformamos un posible fracaso en una lección de persistencia para todo el club. One of the most rewarding moments, the one that made all the stress worth it, was saying our validation partner, esa persona con un nivel básico de inglés y mucho temor, se atrevió a tomar un rol en la sesión. That moment confirmed our strategy. The English barrier is actually a confidence barrier. Al proporcionar guiones bilingües y un ambiente seguro, demostramos que todos pueden crecer en este club, sin importar su punto de partida. We proved that the language barrier is actually a confidence barrier. Reflecting on these 2 months, we have realized that managing a project of this scale has changed my perspective on leadership. No se trata de tener todas las respuestas inmediatamente, sino hacer las preguntas correctas y rodearse de las personas correctas. It requires empathy over authority and flexibility over the rigid calendar. Aprendimos que el bilingüismo en Toastmasters no es todo o nada, sino un proceso inclusivo donde cada palabra cuenta. Today, I don't just bring you a report of finished task. I bring you a stronger, more inclusive club. Este proyecto termina hoy, pero nuestro viaje como comunidad bilingüe apenas comienza. We have built the bridge and now it's time to us to walk across together. If you are facing a wall today in your life, career, or language studies, remember Bianca's motivation and Elida's support. No necesitas ser perfecto para empezar, solo necesitas ser persistente. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. El éxito no es el final. El fracaso no es fatal. Lo que cuenta es el valor para continuar. Winston Churchill. My dear Bianca, Mrs. Toastmaster, continues.
Wow. Thank you, Bernardo Agualpa, for that inspiring and courageous speech. Taking the stage in a new language is not easy, and today you truly embodied out the transcendence of what transcending barriers actually means. So now I invite our evaluator, Paul Herrera, to provide a constructive feedback.
Thank you, dear Toastmaster. I will start to reading the purpose of the speech. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice developing a plan, building a team, and fulfilling the plan with the help of his team. The purpose of the second speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her experience managing a project. So Atahualpa, I would like to congratulate you for the courage that you had to deliver a speech in English. Also, you make it in Spanish, which I think collaborate to a better comprehension of your speech. You started with a strong quote where you make clear that the team is important, and as a team is going to face challenges, but the most important is to continue working for the purpose of the project, right? Was defined that the project is to complete a first session in English for the Ecuador Club, which is being doing today. So congratulations for completing this project. Also, you mentioned in your speech the different members that collaborate with this milestone. You mentioned Bianchi, you mentioned Elida. So thank you for the team that is putting this together. Also, you mentioned our dear VP of Education, Veronica. So it was very clear that you worked hard in order to putting together this session with the support of the Argentinian club, and we thank you for that. During your speech, you used a good non-verbal communication. Your body language was excellent. You delivered the speech on foot. We can notice your movements. Your movements was according with the speech, so congratulate for that. You also use different vocal tones, speeds, and pauses. So you have improved using your different vocal resources. Thank you, Atahualpa. For the next speech in English, I will advise you, probably it's going to be better to deliver the full speech in English, because if you do so, it's going to be more clear and more fluent, right? Don't do it and don't change it to Spanish, because even the translation is not according with the English that you, with the purpose of the English that you give it to us. So sometimes it's making us confusion when you switch from Spanish to English. It's going to be better doing or in English or in Spanish, and that is going to be more fluent. I think you have completed the purpose of this speech. Congratulations for that. I'm looking forward for the next session in English. I would like to know how it's going to continue, when is going to be the next session, who is going to be the team. For overall, I would like to see more Ecuadorian people joining to these sessions that I consider are going to be powerful, as are going to help everybody to grow. Thank you, Tahualpa. Thank you, Bianca. Thank you, Elida. Thank you, Argentinian Club, for being here.
Oh, we truly appreciate your feedback, Paul. It was great to also hear a wise word from you. Before we continue, we have a very special moment. Turning to the second part of the session, we have an important guest today joining us. As part of our commitment to grow and excel, we are honored to host an advanced speaker from international Toastmaster community. Our guest joining us from Podium Toastmaster and bringing with him an outstanding achievement. He is Division C contestant winner from District 1, 2, 3 in Ohio, Canada, and is currently preparing for the next level of competition. This gives us the unique opportunity not only to listen, but to learn from a speaker performing at a high competitive level. His speech is titled Keep Flying, a message that perfectly aligns with the theme of overcoming barriers and continuing to grow beyond them. Please join me in warmly welcoming David Gallagher.
Thank you. Thank you. Have you ever had moments in your life that were amazing? Show of hands, how many? All right, I got everybody. Hang on. Talk to me at the same time. Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. I would like to have you come back to the moment where life was amazing. It was the summer of 2011. And I was a brand new father of triplets. Yeah, that was amazing. And so were the expenses. I can still smell the diapers that I had to change every day. I was getting ready to go to work, and I needed definitely a strong cup of coffee. It was a very long night. So I went to the best coffee shop I can possibly find. My favorite coffee shop, Starbucks. And I walked in enjoying that infamous smell that you could only smell at Starbucks, and it doesn't matter where you go in the world. And as I was waiting for my coffee, I got a weird text message. It was from my boss. It says, call me. Now, hang on a second. My boss usually texts me a novel. This was weird. But I ignored it. I'm close to work. I'm going to see him in a few minutes. So as I was driving down the road, sipping my wonderful Starbucks coffee, appreciating how amazing my life is and how thankful I am to have a job that can support my family, I pulled into my parking spot. Then I noticed something interesting. Everybody was outside. I thought there was a fire or something. No. As I walked closer and closer to the office door, I saw that infamous sign on the door. Out of business. Yeah. Just like that. My amazing life was over. As the weight of the reality sunk in, there was always one question in my mind. How am I going to support my family? How am I going to pay for all those diapers? In the midst of all this chaos, I hear this really annoying sound. A fly. Landed right on my arm. I do what everybody else does. Get out of here. Oh, no, no, no. This fly decides to come back, and this time lands right on my nose. Have you ever tried to kill a fly and destroy everything else around you? I guess a lot of you have done that. You know, the worst part is it still lives. So annoying. But that day, that fly taught me a big lesson. Be strong. How many times have you had situations in your life that were not good, and someone told you, be strong? How many of you have said that to someone? So I did what this and everybody tells me to do, be strong. I stayed strong through all of the difficult moments of my life, all the failures and the heartache, all the moments where I sat home at night asking myself, what's the point? I continue to eat and eat and eat. That was the price I paid. You see, until one day I found myself on an operating table. 12 hours later, I woke up with the most excruciating pain I've ever felt. Every single breath, I felt my stitches being torn apart like claws trying to rip it apart. I tried to say, what happened? The doctor opens up the curtain and says, oh, Dave, you're so lucky. We almost lost you on the operating table. As the nurses and doctors walked away, I was left alone. In between every breath, I can hear that sound that reminds you that you're still alive. And then I hear that annoying noise again. Whoa. It's that fly that reminded me to be strong. And now it just sat still right next to me. I could almost hear it saying something. Recover and heal. I tell you this story because we encounter moments every day in our lives when everything was amazing and then it stops. We can choose to be strong, but what we really need to do is to choose to stop, recover, and heal. And when we do, amazing things will happen. So say it with me. Stop, recover, and heal. Toastmaster.
Wow, what an inspiring speech.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, David, for your contribution today.
Thank you.
Your speech was so meaningful. Your story reminds us about challenges that we have to overcome in order to heal and actually grow as a person and a
Yes.
human being itself. So learning how to manage difficult situations is not easy. Your usage of onomatopoeias was extraordinary. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for your strong, confident message. So
Thank you so much. Thanks for giving me the time to do this. Appreciate it.
So, as part of your preparation, we would like to invite everyone to complete the short evaluation and to share thoughts about David's performance. So, your feedback will be highly valuable in supporting his journey. And to get to the next level, please use the chat to
Yeah.
leave your comments.
Hopefully, yeah. Oh, I want to say this speech to everybody. If I don't know if I can share my screen, I'll put up a QR link that goes straight to the an evaluation form that you can show or do later instead of just doing a quick eval. It's a very detailed one, and if you just take a picture of that, it goes to a link. You don't have to mention your name. It's completely anonymous, and any feedback will always help me in this process because eventually I do want to spread this message to as many people as I can. So as I continue to modify it and fix it, you will be part of that evolution. So thanks for your time and effort to doing that evaluation. I'll stop the screen so you can, I can go back. I think you were able to see the QR code, right?
Yes, we
Okay.
got it.
Yes, we got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's where the chat is. I was trying to find the chat on this Google thing.
I'm trying to find it too. Where is
Yeah.
it?
I was like,
Where
somebody,
is it?
thank you for somebody making the chat and opening it up. I'm like,
Where
there it
is
is.
it?
That's
On the
great.
side? No. Oh, yeah. I
It's
got it.
somewhere on the side. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. The little,
on the
the
lower
little,
left.
yeah, I know. Okay.
Well, if I can take advantage of that, I'll place my my LinkedIn profile if you want to reach out. I do public speaking coaching as well, and we can connect if you want to learn more on public speaking and things like that. So, part of my little plug.
So we are going to allow everybody first to fill out the form, and
Yeah.
then we will continue with table topics. But
Yeah. Feel free to fill that out, and whenever you have a chance, But appreciate any feedback you give me.
We don't need to fill up the form now.
Yeah, you don't
Yes,
need to fill it up now. No.
It will take too much time. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. It's a very comprehensive form. It really asks a lot of details, and all those details helps me get better with it. But
Okay.
Perfect.
and I
So
just
now-
want to make one note. Stop worrying about writing a perfect speech, because when you present it, you never present the same way you're writing it. So please consider that if you're on the fence about doing a speech and performing it, you will never say the same exact words, even if you have a teleprompter. I even tried my teleprompter and it failed. So, so what are you going to do? You have to go to what you feel and what you're practicing. So I would say when you're doing the speech, when you're writing it, stop focusing on writing a perfect speech. Focus on delivering the speech. And that's going to help you in your growth. So thanks for that.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. So now we may move on to table topics, the part where we practice speaking spontaneously. This is where fear transforms into confidence and where we challenge ourselves to think and speak in the moment. I invite each of you to write down your questions before we may start table topics. So the chat is there for each of us to write our questions.
Sorry. Could you explain how it's done? I am not familiar with this.
Yeah, of course. The chat is basically on the lower side of the screen where you
Yeah,
can
I got the chat, but how you are doing your table topics? There is no table topic master?
at the moment, no. That Miguel hasn't connected yet, therefore we may
Okay.
continue. We may continue just sharing our own thoughts, and that would be it.
So we all have to post a question?
Indeed, each of us would be uploading its own questions, and we may answer to each, asking one another.
David's screen is still in share or no, it's not. Sorry.
It shouldn't be.
Okay.
Oh, I see
I
myself.
have it still in here.
I'm gonna have to leave by 10 o'clock because I have another student. But
Okay.
any feedback again you can put in there. But thank you for the opportunity to practice, and I hope my speech was inspiring. And
Thank you.
we'll hear from you soon, I guess. Right? Hopefully, I'll come back and I'll do that speech again and again. I have until May. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I like that. That's interesting. Okay, so are we supposed to answer these questions on chat or live?
Live. I'm going to read out first Atahualpa's and then the rest. So this one would be delivered to David. Which name would you put to the fly that visited you?
If I had a name to choose a fly, I would definitely call it, it's a weird name, but Betsy. It just comes up, Betsy. I used to have a cat, and we called it Betsy. And that's the only time I can remember. It was a nice, small little cat. And I remember that we were small little kids, and we were playing with a really tiny cat, and we thought it was a toy. And but it was such a beautiful looking cat. It was a black and white cat. It was a classic. And unfortunately, we were too young, and my parents didn't want to really take care of it. We had to give it away. But Betsy would definitely be our fly. I think Betsy would be a funny name. That's what I would choose.
Indeed. What a good name.
Betsy!
Right now, this question would be delivered to. I would like to invite our guests to answer this question. Marx Wolf. So, is language really the biggest barrier between people, or is it something else? Which are your thoughts on it?
Okay, first I would like to introduce myself. Sorry for the name. I have the name from my Gmail account, and since this is my public account, I use a pseudonym in order to protect privacy. My real name is Cesar Salgado. Well, answering the question, I've also worked with a lot of people from different countries, from different cultures, mainly Asia, also United States and Europe. I've seen the different ways that each culture has to communicate. While there's different languages, there are things that are common among different cultures. As humans, we communicate the important things, similar things, despite our way of communicating, despite the words. While we have a lot of similarities, there is also differences. And I see a lot of misunderstandings caused by misuses of the language or mistranslations. Is way more common both in the professional aspect. And for me, the barrier is sometimes the prejudice that we have of people that is from another country, from another language, even from a language that doesn't use the same alphabet as ours. And sometimes we ignore the things that are common between our cultures, and sometimes that similarities are the things that can bring us together, that break those barriers. And that is basically the goal of communication beyond the languages. Like, how do I express an idea? How do I give this idea to another person that doesn't speak my language? How do I and sometimes communication is more about words and how we our expressions or emotions, how do we express ourselves without words? I think that's a trait of humanity, that we can communicate a lot of things without using words. And that should be the best way to break these barriers, in my opinion. Thanks.
Perfect. What a good opinion. You have a solid point on it. And we truly appreciate your participation, David. So, but at the moment, we would like to share David's question with Maria Teresa. So, as we know, every language has its idioms and cultural expression, which often are difficult to translate. I find it impressive how we are obviously, to some extent, in our own language, more fluent than the other one. Which expression in your language do you think it's difficult for foreigners to grasp or to understand?
Yes, hello everybody again. So the question is how we are oblivious to some of those in our own language. Some things that are difficult to translate. Which expression in language do you think it's difficult for foreigners? Well, there are many, many things that belong to each culture. So I speak Spanish, but my Spanish is different from the one in Spain. I mean, there are many, many words in Spain which we do not use. I mean, the computer is instead of being computadora, it's ordenador. And there are many, many things. And but the most important things are not words, but expressions, because they are what we mean. Here in Argentina, we have had a lot of Italian immigration. And I mean, here in Buenos Aires especially, I think 70% of the people had some Italian blood in them. I'm one of them. And we have expressions like "que facha." And what "que facha" means, you're looking well, you're very well dressed, you're looking wonderful. But facha comes from the Italian face. I mean, it has nothing to do with how you look. So we have lots of expressions that belong to each culture. And as the phonetics teacher I've had when I studied, language is in perpetual change. So our Spanish is different, not from Uruguay. Uruguay and Argentina speak almost the same, but places in Argentina from the north speak differently from the ones in Buenos Aires. I had once a Tucumano boyfriend from Tucumán before I got married. And when they wanted, they spoke Spanish and I didn't understand what they were saying because they have changed. And I mean, they did it on purpose because I was the one from downtown Buenos Aires. So it's important to learn the culture and you can do it by living there, yeah, or being a lot of time in that culture. That's what I think. Back to you.
Wise. Thank you, Maria Teresa. Wise. I may not be aware of such an important change between one region to another when it comes to the Argentinian context. However, it's fascinating to get those insights. Right now, I would like to ask a guest, Annie Mercedes, to share a funny and awkward moment that you had or experienced due to a language barrier.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I am so excited to talk with you because English for me is like, it's not just a door, it's a key that I have the privilege to use in some areas. So, well, talking about, I'm sorry for the noise. And as you can notice, I am so excited. So, and some here was so noisy. So, Bianchi, please, may you repeat the question?
So, Could you share an awkward moment or experience that you had due to a language barrier?
Okay, I have lived some. Okay, I don't know if this one is awkward, but it was uncomfortable. I traveled with my family some years ago to United States, and we arrived to one room, and the room was dirty. The smell was really bad, and we decided to change to other room. And at that time, we didn't have our cell phone and these kind of things, and we asked that they call in the morning to wake up, and they changed to other room, and they forgot to call us. So the thing was that we lose the bus that is going to take us from Miami to Orlando. So we lost the bus, and it was like, and then I go to the check room, and I was talking with them, and I said, you know, what happened with you? We arrived really late. We moved to other room, and we asked that please help us with this kind of things, and you didn't call us and say, okay, it's not our problem. Sorry, you need to organize. And I was really, really angry with the deep of my heart. And I said, and they said, yeah, that's it. And I said, may I talk with your boss? And they said, the boss speaks in English. And a way to say that you are not going to talk with them. And I said, no problem. I'm going to speak with them. So, or with him or with her, but please give me a chance. And I had the opportunity to talk with this guy in English. I expressed my feelings, of course, with all of the respect, but as the way that the situation happened. And the boss not just give us apologies. He organized everything. He organized a new bus to take us, all my family, to Orlando. He gave the breakfast. He organized everything. And that gives me like English is a superpower and I need to use it. No matter that sometimes I could make some mistakes or something like that, I say, I love English. So, and then I have the chance to resolve this situation. And this is the thing that I am really happy that you are organizing these kind of things, because the idea is always to push ourselves, to improve our skills. And that was something that happened to me. And I confirmed that it's not just language. Of course, I speak in English, but I could show my feelings. Maybe if I have used other person, maybe the other person is not going to transmit what the things I was feeling at the moment. So I use this superpower. So thank you, all of you. That was my experience.
Wow, what an interesting experience you had. Oof. Right now, I would like to ask each of you to imagine a world with no common language. So, how would humans communicate and build relationships? This question may be delivered to Veronica. We would like to hear from you. Which are your thoughts on it?
Berito,
What?
puedes responder en español.
Yeah.
Ok. ¿Algún momento en el que la barrera del idioma jugó a mi favor? La verdad, no he tenido una experiencia como tal. He tenido la suerte de tener acompañantes que pudieron ayudarme en el momento. Así que en este momento no tengo una experiencia que compartir. Lo siento.
Oh, do not worry. Thank you for participating, Will. I send you a huge hug right now. Anyways, we may continue with the same idea. Imagine a world with no common language. How would humans communicate and build relationships? In this case, we would like to ask Tahualpa to answer this question.
Thank you very much. I think maybe in the touch and the eyes contact and hands and your feelings, we can transmit the feelings without words. I think that, and the energy of the people is transmitting too, like a bridge, like energy between us. If we can see a person, if we can hear a person, maybe the tone of his voice, of her voice, or how she or he stand up. Maybe we can see and feel the 50% of the words, of the feelings that he or she takes. Maybe a word or sight with language that I not or never or any person can speak. We can touch people, we can see the people to the eyes, and but feel its feelings, and feel this fear or happiness to the only thinking with them. Yes. And this is really inclusive in this kind of contact, the telematic contact, because in the world maybe is like a net that we are all of us are connected. We are connected beyond the words. We are connected with our spirits. Thank you.
Indeed. Wow. I would agree on that. Actually, signs are 90% of language beyond verbal communication. Thus, it's quite interesting taking all these points of view and actually getting to know what language is all about. Then we may move on to the last question. It's going to be for Paul. Answer this.
Maria is
Oh,
hanging
Maria,
with you.
may I lay you the floor?
Yes, can I say something? Well, I completely agree with what Bernardo said. And you know, I have 2 rooms in my house which I rent out to students. And the very first student who came some years ago was from Korea. He didn't know Spanish. He had come here to learn Spanish, and he didn't know English. So, and I didn't know Korean. So, and we communicated. And after a few months, he hadn't learned so much Spanish, but we talked even about politics, about the war, and that they didn't like, the Koreans don't like the Japanese, and how we did it. Well, I don't know, just like Bernardo said, with gestures and eye contact and whatever. So that was my experience, and I wanted to share it with you.
Wow. Wise. Putting it into action. Wow. Sorry, now the last question, and we may finish with table topics. So the question was made by Annie Mercedes, and it goes like this: how can we break a big challenge like learning language into small, consistent steps? I would like Paul Herrera to answer this question.
Thank you for the question, dear Bianchi, Vianney, Mercedes. Dear Toastmaster Fellows, communication is not about language. Communication is about sign. Communication is about the willingness to pass our messages, right? And we can use it. We can use it all the elements that we have in our hands. I'm going to share how I try to keep in touch with the language, with different languages. Thank you, we have now technology and we have podcasts, right? And we have different level of podcasts that we can use it. So when I'm in the traffic, waiting to arrive to any place, here in Quito is sometimes a disaster, right? I believe in all the other countries is about the same. And you are in your car, use the time listening the favorite podcast. If you have problems to understanding, you can reduce even the speed of the podcast. Also, I like to read. And when I'm reading, I'm trying to switch between English and Spanish, right? If there is a book that I love it, I try first in Spanish, and then I read it again in English. So with that, I can understand better what is being told in English. Use your kids, right? If you have kids and your kids love to watch some TV show, put it in English. They for sure will understand because it's all of graphics. It's about motion, actions. So being with them, watching those movies, watching those TV shows are going to help you also to understand the different languages. Everything it is about the willingness. Everything is about to have the intention to do something. And for sure, different languages are difficult and the level of difficulty depends on people, right? To finish, I have a daughter. She loves to learn languages. She's fluent in English, fluent in French, and now is learning Chinese, Mandarin, right? Is in the second year of Mandarin, and she came last day and said, now that I'm taking the torch of Mandarin, I would like to start to learn Arabic, right? So that is the willingness that we need. Nothing is impossible. We need just to put our plans in place in order to conquer our intentions. Thank you, dear Bianchi. Back to you.
Wow, wise words. Thank you so much, Paul. And we may move on to the evaluation section. I would like to thank each of you for your contribution. It's been quite a enriching meeting as we have gone through different sections and it's been explained clearly the goals. And after all, I may consider to be absolutely grateful for all the support that has been received. So without further ado, I may ask Elida to introduce our evaluation team and to complete this session.
Thank you very much, Madam Miss Toastmaster. I'm sorry. I would like to congratulate everyone because we have advanced in a meeting that with fewer people than normal, and we have managed to have a quality meeting. In order to go through the details, let me introduce the different reports. So, Maria Teresa, could you give us the grammarian report?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Elita. Well, I'm going to tell you that I've been very surprised because there have been mistakes, but not in tenses. I think not in verbs, and that is very unusual. One or two, but there have been many things that I really liked. Now, first, I'm going to say as I said before, what is correct, and the second phrase is going to be the one which is not correct. We are here to learn, not we are to learn. Okay, and then we have the opportunity. We have the opportunity to, not the opportunity of. And evaluations are given, they are not done. The evaluations are given. And this is pronunciation. You say minutes, not minutes, minutes. And then again from pronunciation, it's grammarian. It's not grammarian, it's grammarian. And that's again pronunciation barrier. It's not barrier, as somebody said. Okay. There was one instance that had should have been used, and they said have the chance to, and it should have been the past tense. Now, he or she take, not she or he takes. And we have different levels, not different, we have different level. If it would be level, it should have said we have at different level. Otherwise, we have different levels. And you depend on people, not off people. We depend on people. Now, what I really liked, breaking the language barrier, I think that's I really like the expression, without further ado. I love it. Evaluation is a gift. I love that. ELIDA is a strategic bridge. I love it. Somebody said it about ELIDA. And he is committed to grow and excel. Wonderful. Excruciating pain. I love that. That's from David's speech. And that's it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Maria Teresa, our grammarian. I pronounced it several times wrong. Okay. I would like now to introduce our accounter, Bianca, that will give us all the yes and ahs that I made. And everybody else.
No, an overall summary would be that in total we have at least 27 times has been said and and the length of the words has been evident. For instance, in several speeches, we would see the length of the word after and with the these are, which are common. I may not say the names right away. However, you may notice that the word that has been used the most when it comes to filling those gaps, that we should actually make a pause where filled with and lengthen of the word after, but as well as the. That would be it. In total, it would be 27 times, adding up, plus the lengthen would sum up to at least 31 times.
Thank you for your report, Madam Miss Accounter. Veronica will give us the timing for the speeches. I think that is important. I don't know if you vote for speeches. Well, right now, I don't think that there is a vote required in relation with speeches because they are very different level of speeches. Maybe, I don't know if you want to vote or not.
Okay.
Or you usually do it, Madam Toastmaster. But Veronica, go ahead. Tell the times, please.
Okay. To be or not to be? That's the questions. I have looked for the colored wallpapers on this platform, but couldn't find them. However, I eventually solved it by coming up with alternative solution. I hope that is no problem. In English or in Spanish, develop this rule of time is a difficult challenge for me. I hope that the repetition helps me feel more comfortable. Well, about the time. This meeting starts at 8:02. We lost a few minutes in the table topic section while the issue was being solved, but it was fixed within 2 minutes. Here is the timing report for the speech. Let me share.
You can just mention it if you want.
Okay. Well, Speaker Atahualpa has 6 minutes and 9 seconds. Paul, as evaluator, has 3 minutes and 35 seconds. The speaker, David, has 7 minutes and 35 seconds. I have not the evaluator time. About table topic section, Cesar has 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Maria has 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Annie Mercedes has 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Atahualpa, 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Thus, the people has more time. And Veronica has 15 minutes. Maria, 46 seconds. And Paul, 2 minutes and 22 seconds. That is the time report.
Thank you very much. As a comment on the timing, I didn't hear the amount of time that the table topics were going to take. Maybe Bianchi explained it, but I didn't hear it. Although it is in the agenda, I noticed that they should take about 2 minutes, I think. So everybody that, if we were going to vote for the best table topics, we need to consider only the speeches that were between 2 minutes or 2 minutes, 30 seconds and no more, right? And more than 1 minute too, but I guess most qualified. There were just a couple of little bit more. Okay, in relation, now I will continue with my general impression of the meeting. We started almost in time. To me, 2 minutes. I am Argentinian, don't mean anything, but in Toastmasters they mean we have to start on time. So I really commend Bernardo for taking the role and starting the meeting and right away without any preparation for it because somebody else was supposed to do it. I also commend everybody on coming up with solutions for or roles that were not filled or roles that could be done in a different way. At the beginning of the meeting, we normally do something that I think that is important that you introduce is the guest introduction. For the guests to be included in a meeting that usually they have never been in a meeting, a Toastmasters meeting, it's very important that we introduce them at the beginning. We let them introduce it each at the beginning, or sometimes when it was in person, we got a person to introduce them at the beginning. They will feel welcome and in part of the meeting. Also mention when the guests can participate, for example, in table topics. We always mention, because if in the speaking person, the guests cannot participate, but in the table topics, yes, they can participate. So we reinforce it that they can participate. Okay. Now, in relation with the organization of the meeting, I would say that Paul produced a fantastic evaluation, but he didn't have much time from the time the speaker finished until he talked. So what we usually do in our meetings is we put the evaluation after the table topics. That's the reason to put in the speeches first, and then the table topics, and then the evaluations, to give the evaluators more time to present the evaluation. In table topics, I found that this possibility of everyone creating a question is a very good idea. I am going to propose it in my club to do it sometimes, actually. We came up with very interesting questions. Although maybe some time could have been saved if we knew about it before, and we had a prepared question before in the meeting. All that time that we were silent, looking at questions and whatever, could have been saved and make it more expeditious, okay? So, but the idea, I think that it worked fantastic. We got great questions and everyone participated. In table topics, we normally recommend it to introduce, to start our speaking saying, Madam Table Topic Master or Table Topic Master, whatever it is, and finish our speech in the same way. Not that's it, not yes, not nothing, okay? Madam Table Topic Master, it passes the control of the meeting to the next person, just mentioning the name of the person that is to continue the speech. I think that the reports have been very good in relation with the meeting too. We have not have a lot of use of the word of the day, transcending, and it should be something that in this theme of this meeting, that is the beginning of a transcendental situation for this club, could have been used more, but it will help if you have it, post it in your background. If you cannot do it, if you cannot write it, like you said, you cannot write it in the names. We usually write it beside the name too, or post. I think that it was posted in the chat, was it? I didn't. Well, it was, or post it in the chat, okay? So that people keep it, and also when you are the table topic master, if you mention, use the word, it will encourage more participation on this. I think that that will be for now my report. I don't know if you want feedback on something else. We should continue with the meeting. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Elida. It's been really enriching, as has already been said, for this session. The word of the day should have been mentioned more times, and it will be an aim that we have to cover up in the future sessions. So coming up with the closure of this session, as we have come to the end of our meeting, I would like to leave you with a simple thought. Confidence is not something we wait for. It is something we build one word at a time. Today, each one of you showed courage. Each of you took a step forward and transcended. And that is what truly transcends means. Thank you for being part of this special moment, our first Toastmasters Ecuador meeting in English. Let's continue growing, supporting each other, and becoming better communicators every day. Thank you so much.
I don't know if master section, but we are done.
Thank you for all. Gracias,
Yeah,
mis
thank
queridos
you.
amigos. Gracias, Elida, por todo tu soporte y por toda tu ayuda. Muchas gracias. Bienvenido, César.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias a todos. Un excelente fin de semana. Adiós.
Adiós.
Bye. Thank
¿Qué pasó, Bianca, con all the second part session special meeting? What is that? That is in the agenda.
I switched it too early. I wanted to separate it so it would be evident, but I just mentioned that it would be the second part when I introduced the special guest, but it was my bad. Pardon me, my nerves got me over and
Okay. Okay, great. Okay. Just we didn't talk